on my screen if I can. How do I do that? Can I switch it to who I want?
Does it switch automatically when somebody starts talking?
Yes. I was just hoping to keep you on my screen the whole time so that. All right. So I've got 7 o'clock. So call to order. Do the pledge.
Hold on.
Okay.
Are we good on that end?
I think Jason said to wait a minute.
Okay. Are we good now, Jason? Yeah, we're good now. We're okay.
All right. So it's 7:01. We'll call the meeting to order and do the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
flag
The United States of America.
to the republic
for
which
it
it
stands,
One nation.
one nation,
Under God. Indivisible.
indivisible,
liberty,
liberty,
and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
All right.
It was great harmony.
Yes, that's really good. So, roll call. I'm just going to go through. I'm just going to call names if we can. So,
Yep.
David,
Here.
Megan,
here,
Stacy,
Here.
Heather,
here,
then I'm here, Dr. Baker, and we
I am.
have Jason as well as on.
Yep. And
Yes. Emmett is with us as well, and Jeremy's here in the room with me as well.
Okay. All right. So we will move on to the approval of the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
David makes the motion. Any discussions? Second.
I'll second.
Is that
Stacy.
Stacy? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we'll move on down to the construction report. We'll look at that and
Board members.
Jeremy's going to get into it.
Yeah, I have Jeremy here with us. This is the first time he submitted a written construction report, and just some things I would like to quickly review with you. In blue font on the construction report, you'll see some timelines laid out. We have a lot of things going on with facilities right now, and some things I want to point out. Regarding the track, is the first timeline you'll see in the construction report. Tonight, we're asking you to approve bid documents so we can bid that project out. At present, it looks like we would ask you to make some type of final decision on the track on May the 14th. Okay, so we have a little bit of time there, but tonight's action is just to approve the documents so we can bid the job out. Okay, you wouldn't make a final decision and quote spend any money until May the 14th. The second timeline you see is the athletic complex paving. Again, tonight, we're just asking you to approve the bid documents. Ordinarily, under ordinary circumstances, we would be doing quite a bit of work on the parking lot in paving, but due to our current situation with the economy, the uncertainty of a lot of our funding, there's an alternate in that package that we would just seal cracks, fill potholes, and do some very basic maintenance and not do a full repaving of the complex. But we're going to bid the whole thing out. And like the track, you wouldn't have to make that final decision until our May the 14th meeting. And the last timeline you see in the construction report is regarding the security vestibule. Again, we are requesting that you do award that project tonight. We've advertised that work. We opened the bids day before yesterday, and I believe Emmett and Jeremy can speak to that. So the only money we're asking you to spend tonight is regarding the security vestibule. Did anybody have any questions about the construction report? This is the first time we've done this in a written format.
I think it's really good. I do miss Jeremy in his report. I think he adds a lot of detail that's really fun, but I think this is great.
And Jeremy's here, by the way. He can slide over in front of the camera if he needs to, if any of you have any questions.
I have a question about the paving.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that there was the other option of just filling in. Is there a reason why that can't be our main option at this time? Because last time I was out at the complex, I didn't feel like our parking lot was in terrible shape, except for there's like this pothole-ish area right in the front, like after you go through the second gates.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we can't make that our main option?
Yeah, I'm going to get up and Jeremy's going to sit down and Jeremy's going to address your question.
Am I in front of the camera?
I can't see you all.
I can't see you either.
I just see Dr.
I can-
Bates' initials.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
seeing you just fine, as I say. And if
yeah. Probably a band
we've
issue.
got a lot of background noise, I'd say if we're not talking, let's mute. That way we don't get any shuffling or anything going on.
Okay, I'll go ahead. On the paving project, we did back that down to where we're only doing crack filling and repairs on potholes and divots, anything that's starting to fail. So it's been brought down a lot. We're not seal coating and we're not striping either.
So that
we're doing,
2,000 is just filling in potholes?
yeah.
And filling
If you go out there and take a look, we have some massive gaps in our blacktop. We
I
have.
actually tried to. It was locked.
Well, if you let me know, I can meet you out there and we can kind of go over it. It's not a big deal. I'm usually here every day anyway. So there are probably 2.5 inch cracks running through there in multiple spots, and then we got some potholes. And that's just kind of an estimate. We're not quite sure what it's really going to come in at yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all depends on the bids, but we did pull it down quite a bit. And I feel like this is probably about the bare minimum we can do is basically just filling in cracks and doing the pothole repairs. And
Okay.
Some of those cracks are pretty long and pretty deep out there.
they're really big. They started to separate quite a bit over the winter this year. And that we're hoping we can still fill those cracks. I'm not sure if they're going to, fill that or if they got to cut them out and patch them. It's very possible they might have to cut out and patch some of those when they take a look at them.
Yeah, what we'll do, Jeremy, is any of those that are, say, over an inch, is they'll cut them out like a 2-foot stripe, and then they'll have to fix it all full depth. Otherwise, they'll just come right back.
Yeah, that's what I
So
was.
and we have a little bit of a full depth repair. I'll show you here. I don't want to hijack you, but I can show you. I don't know if you can see my screen, but there's a little bit, as you first come in the complex on the right side, there's a little bit of a repair here. And then we have a little bit down here by the bleacher section as well.
Yeah, the one when you pull in, I definitely saw that one. I was able to see that when I went out there, but I couldn't see anything else. And I'm just like, do we really need to be spending the money to have this done when we don't really know how things are going to go?
Well, we're not doing the seal coating and we're not doing the striping. So all we're doing is repairs that keep it from getting worse on a big level.
Okay. Thank
So-
you.
Should we think about the bid then, that this will be, at best case scenario, we're doing some like cosmetic kind of like spackle, if you will, on this, and worst case, we're gonna have to dig out a few areas and do some more in-depth construction, and that's kind of the scope of it?
I would say that anything that's over an inch, we want to dig it out. Anything that's less, we just want to put crack filler, and we're going to fill anything all the way down to an 1/8 inch. That will keep you from deteriorating significantly over the next handful of years, so you can catch up with it when you have the means.
Sure. Thank you.
Is there anything else for that or any other part of that report that I submitted to you. On the concrete work for the sidewalks, I added that in because the railings are starting to crumble and loosen up on the outer edges, and down at the end of the curb are concrete curbs and this is at the elementary school. Sorry, they're coming. Well, there's curbs out already, sitting up on the grass where they popped out of place, and then it's kind of crumbling by the light post. There's a lot of cracking going on there, and I'm afraid it might, do something to the light post. So we're going to strengthen that up there. I can send that over on the next construction report tomorrow. The actual cost, I'll attach that to it because I'm sending you another report tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep, the report was great. Thanks.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any other? Whoa, that's why I need to hold it. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you. So, Dr. Baker, are you?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
I'll get used to this whole thing. Approval of the minutes for March 12th.
I'll make it.
Okay. Any questions, discussions? Second,
I'll make it.
Megan.
Yep.
All right. Approval of the minutes for March 31st.
Make
Hold on,
it.
we have to vote.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, yes, sorry. Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so 5-0. 5-4, no opposed. Approval of the minutes for March 31st, 2020.
I'll make it.
Heather, any discussion? Second,
I'll make it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the minutes for April 2nd.
I'll make it.
David? Questions, discussion? Second,
I'll make it.
Stacy? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Next is the approval of the treasurer's report for March.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
This is Megan.
Sure.
Is that Megan, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Discussion? Everybody got their questions in? Second,
I'll make it.
Stacy? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? There's none. Approval of the order of the treasurers, the bills for March.
I'll make it.
Go with David for the first. Questions, discussion? Second,
I'll make it.
is that Heather?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Approval of the owner architect agreement for the Walton Verona Athletic Complex paving.
I'll make it.
Doesn't matter.
Is that David?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion? Questions? Anything further? Second?
Yeah. Thanks for the explanation. I thought that was great.
All right. Second,
I'll make it.
Megan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? approval of BG3, the athletic complex paving.
I'll make it.
Heather?
Somebody's cleaning.
Yeah, I said somebody's doing dishes.
Sounds like dishes.
Yeah.
So, really?
Yeah.
That's Nick.
Oh,
Nick.
Doing
Come on
a
over
heck
to
of
my
a
house.
job.
All right, I'm putting you on mute.
You have to vote. So you got to take it off mute for now.
Okay. All right.
So Heather was first. Discussion. Second.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
Megan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Approval of the bid documents for the complex for the paving. 3H.
I'll make it.
Oh.
You were breaking up.
Sorry, you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
This is
I was
3H.
saying, because there's so many of the complex paving, I was just letting you know where I was at on the agenda. 3.H.
Okay.
So David was the first. Discussion. Second.
I'll make it.
Stacy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is the phase 2 approval of the owner architect agreement for the track and field.
I'll make it.
Megan. Discussion. Second. We don't have a second or discussion.
I'd make it, but I already made the first.
Yeah.
Can you go over this a little bit, Emmett?
Yeah. Here we go. Emmett, are you still on here?
It says that he is.
I left it on mute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hi, Emmett.
Where's the explanation? No, I will. I can actually bring the drawing up. So I'm going to share my screen, if you can, for a moment. Okay. Okay, so we have there's 2 packages here that we're going to bid separately, so you still retain the choice on how to move forward with the track. The first bid package, which you can look at, is going to be for removing the rubber around the track and making the necessary base repairs here and here, and then putting the latex back. We did a sample along this straightaway that seems like it's holding, so we're going to do that same application around the whole track, but we're disqualifying the original contractor who did the original work and the sample, and that would have been Current Surfaces out of Michigan. So that is bid package 1. Now, you would never accept both of these at the same time, but that's the lesser of the 2. We also wanted to do a package that looked like this, which is really the same area. We're not doing the D end zones. We're doing the track itself, where we actually remove the blacktop, and you can see this little profile section down here. We actually take it out. We put a little slope to it. We put some stone underneath of it, put a drain tile, and then we go back with new blacktop. And we can go a little thinner on the blacktop because we have a nice stone base underneath of it. And then we put a new rubber surface on top of it. So there's 2 options that we have, and all we're doing at this point is just getting pricing on those bid packages. So
Emmett, we don't see what you're seeing. We just see a
What?
tractor.
Oh,
you
I
didn't
saw the
see
whole thing.
I'll say I saw the whole thing.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
I
I
was
just saw it.
having some issues earlier, I think, on some of the bandwidths. There's a super long delay. Let me try it
Yeah,
again.
I saw it
Jumped out. I'm going to jump
live
back.
time.
Yeah, I can see it all.
I see a tractor.
Sounds like somebody.
There, I see it now.
Okay.
I see it now.
There's the track. So in the one option, we're doing a repair right here and just stripping and redoing the 3/8 surface. The other option, we're going to remove all the blacktop in this area and go with this profile down here with the drain tile, the stone, and then the new asphalt and the new rubber on top. And all we're doing is getting bids on these two projects. Now, I will tell you, we just bid a new stadium very similar to this for Campbell County Middle School. And it came in, I think, right at 400, but it had some extra things in it like goals and some other things. So it might not be as high as we originally estimated. I will say that. I mean, it'll be determined on what the market actually yields, but that was kind of encouraging with some of the virus things. I mean, I've had some projects that were just off the chart that we bid maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, but it seems like people are having a little confidence now in booking their schedules for summer. So I mean, all we're doing at this time is actually getting the bids on the two options.
So in the other meeting, we approved the 95,000 and the 400 and something. What was that for? Because that sounds like the same thing.
That is this. So those were conservative estimates that I put together, and we're going to get two bid packages, and we're going to present them to you, and you would pick one or none or what have you, but you would never pick both of them.
Okay.
There's two options that you're going to have.
Okay.
And that's the decision that I refer to on May the 14th. That's kind of, for lack of a better term, D-Day, so to speak. That's when we'll ask you to make some type of decision to do one of those two options or to do nothing. So.
Is it still holding? Is the test strip still the same?
I hadn't been out there in a little bit. I mean, certainly I'm going to go out and do quite a bit of forensics. I want as many hot days on it as possible, but we'll do a pretty detailed review of it here before we ask you to make that decision.
Okay, thank you.
Jeremy just indicated to me he's been out there very recently, and the test strip is still holding. But that's, I think a big factor in this is weather.
Mm-hmm.
So with the weather we've had, it's been a little crazy. But at present, it's still holding. And I'll say, if any of you would like to go do a site visit, I'd be more than happy to meet you out there and kind of facilitate that. Jeremy could be along.
I'll be there
with us. Emmett could be there. Just let me know. I'll be happy to arrange that.
I mean, the fact that it's holding, it, to me, is a kind of a red flag that the initial application had a defect.
With all the rain that we've had the past week or so, have we noticed any drainage issues on the site? Has anybody been there to see that?
Jeremy's telling me no. We haven't seen any drainage issues at all. No field drainage, nothing. No issues.
I mean, it is very unusual.
I know I'd asked you, Dr. Baker, for me to go out there one day next week. Can you include Emmett in that? I don't remember if we talked about that or not, but
Sure.
I would like for him to be there if he's willing to be there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Emmett, I'll contact you tomorrow, and we'll try to facilitate that. And anybody else who wants to be there, obviously, is more than welcome.
I'm not super busy, so you could probably pick your time. It's unfortunately slow.
we were just going. There's a couple people that I wanted to meet with out there, so it's kind of depend on everybody's schedule. But going for prior to 10 a.m. on a Monday, Tuesday next week or something is what we're thinking. So
I'd like to go
we'll be in
too.
touch. I was just wanting to kind of get that ball rolling, that I do want to go out there and take a look at it. All right.
Kyle,
So
can you just send out a text message when you guys decide on the date and time, and then anybody that, I know we can all go because of us being there at the same time, but like it's, I heard Stacy say
we can do back to back.
We
Maybe
can-
to
yeah,
where
we
they're
can
not
time
able
it.
to go out there. Yeah, if whatever we can do to, maybe 2 at a time
Right.
or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And so, okay. All right, we will coordinate that. So, who all wants to be? Is everybody looking for that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we will get that scheduled via email. All right, so on that, Megan was the first. We have had our discussion. Anybody ready to make a second?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
So Emmett and Jeremy, if that's holding with all the rain and stuff, do we feel that we're confident if we spend, say, the 93, that say within the year we're not going to have to turn around and have this same discussion?
It's a risk proposition. I mean, there's no way to spend the 90 and say we know it's going to work. It's a calculated risk.
Okay.
And with the history of it, I mean, I'd really struggle to say whether it's 90% successful or 70 at this point. I mean, I believed in all my forensics last year. We have an application issue. I believe it was applied without the same mistake the second time. And it appears to be holding. But until it goes through a season or two, like if it sat there for, say, 2 years, then I would say, yes, you're getting a lot closer to being that 90, 95%. But we don't have that much time. And I can't really say for certain. Now, it was there all winter, and we have had some pretty hot days. So,
what was the date all that stuff was applied? Because it was in the fall, correct?
we were trying to get it. I'd have to look at the exact date, but they were trying to get it in end of September, I believe it was. October, you're correct.
Okay. So you'll have that maybe for whenever we can meet out there. You can give us some dates so we can run things in our heads while we're visualizing in person.
Yes.
And then once we get the numbers back, we can make a educated decision on what we got to do after we.
I mean, I'll even bring a little equipment. We can even peel one of the bubbles up, and I'll kind of really show you what's happening there.
It'll be good. Appreciate
Thank you.
This essentially will be our one shot at this type of application of kind of reskinning it, just based on the age of the track. So after this, then the next time we would look at this track, we'd be doing a complete tear out. Is that correct?
That's correct. We usually figure the tracks last 10 to 12 years, and every other one you got to rebuild the track. So you have extended your lifespan out 10 more years. You just had to do it 10 years prematurely.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Second.
I'll second.
Stacy.
And that's just to approve a bid.
Yep, just to get
All right.
bids.
All right.
We're just saying we want to.
I get it. Yep.
We want to go to the next step on this, and
You want to get numbers.
we want to get the numbers to think about fixing it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what we're at. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
David? So that's a 4-1 with David as the opposed. Okay. All right. So here is the approval of BG3 Walton Verona track and field phase 2. Trying to make sure that I didn't click on something accidentally.
I think we're on I, aren't we? Well, wait.
Yep.
Jen?
Hold on. Let me go back.
No, I think you just voted on I.
We
and-
just
Yeah.
voted on I. We're on
Yeah,
J.
so we're on
Right.
J. Yep. So I'm good. So we're on J.
So what's the difference in this one?
Okay, well, there's actually three pieces to it. There's the
Oh, this is the big one. Okay.
the contract with me to do it, and I've actually already done it for you, so I'm kind of at your mercy on that one. J is the BG3, which is kind of the financial estimate and some of the outline specifications. It's a form that has to be submitted. It is submitted at the time the bid documents are sent downstate, and it's at the same time. So really, your BG3s is usually one action, and then approving the bid documents is another action. So there's actually three votes that you're making, all to move the same project to the point of getting pricing.
Okay.
All right. We have a first.
I'll make it.
Stacy. Any more discussion? Second.
I'll make it.
All in favor?
Hi.
I.
Opposed?
I.
Okay. So 4 in favor, 1 opposed, which is David. On to 3.K, approval of the bid documents. Walton Brennan Track and Field Phase 2.
I'll make it.
Megan. Discussion. Second.
I'll make it.
All in favor?
Hi.
I.
Opposed?
I.
Thank you. I said, yeah, you got to speak up because I'm not seeing everybody. All right. So 3.L, approval of the revised BG1 for Walton Brennan High School security vestibule.
I'll make it.
Any discussions? Any questions for anybody? Second.
I'll make it.
All in favor?
Hi.
I.
All right. Any opposed? 5-0. Approval of the construction for bids for the security vestibule at the high school.
I'll make it.
Heather. Discussions.
Emmett, can you review with the board the results of the bids?
Yes,
Recommending they award that to.
yes, I can. I'm going to hijack the screen here for a moment. Okay, so what we have, this is the bid tab here, is the bids that we received. Actually had good participation. We had 6 bidders that turned in, anywhere from Century Construction, which is my recommended award, at $82,000, all the way up to Kramer and Feldman at $107,000. So looking at it in light of where the climate is with all the things going on in the world, it's relatively close. Our original estimate was 70, and in light of all that's going on, 82 with Century as the construction company that was the low bid, is what we were going to recommend for you. So, like I said, we had good participation. I was originally kind of nervous because I thought we might only get a couple bids, but we actually had pretty good turnout. And Century's a qualified contractor to handle this. They do a lot of big projects, and they've done a lot of smaller projects of this size. The only thing we got to be a little careful with is really monitor delivery of items. I mean, most of this project with the front entry, I mean, glass might be a little bit of something we have to monitor pretty heavy, and some of the hollow metal. But it seems like most of the manufacturing and production is actually staying working right now. So that's encouraging. Most of my summer projects are still happening. So I don't see any hiccups. inevitably the first step, if you choose to award this, is we have to get Century in to really outline their construction schedule and so forth. And this is for the security vestibule improvements with the hardware and the doors and so forth at the front entry to the high school.
Was there a big difference in design? Is that why the 82,000 to 107,000 is so different?
It's really not as far off as I would think. You have you're bidding fairly early right now, and there's a lot of people here that probably didn't want the job, and they figured they'd throw an extra 20,000 profit on it.
Okay.
And see what happened. Doesn't surprise me. There's usually every bit of 20% spread on small projects like this or more.
Okay.
Pretty normal. Century is usually super competitive, and so is Brielmeier. If you had given me this list, I would have told you Century and Brielmeier would have been your too low before I opened a single one. And I would have told you that Radius and Feldman are probably turning 3 times as many bids in as they actually get. Century probably gets 50%, Brielmeier gets 50%, and the rest of these 4 maybe get 20% of their bids because they tend to do that. They bid high, and if they get a job, then they get really good profit in it.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Comments? All right. So again, we're on 3M, approval of construction bids for Walton Brown High School security vestibule, and we're awarding the contract to the letter of recommendation. Heather was the first. Second,
I'll make it.
Megan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Down to N is approval of memorandum of understanding with Boone County Schools regarding the Ignite Institute.
I'll make it.
David?
Board members, if I could offer some information for you. If we were meeting in person, I had invited Bill Hogan, Boone County Schools, to attend the meeting, but obviously under present circumstances, that wasn't possible. Bill worked very hard with me and with Boone County's Board of Education. As you know, Boone County is in the process of hiring a new superintendent. There's been some uncertainty regarding funding for students to attend Ignite who are not students of Boone County or Kenton County schools. And in this memorandum of understanding, the students who enter Ignite in the fall of 2020 are guaranteed that they will get to spend their entire high school career at Ignite at zero cost to the parents. Now, by approving this MOU, you are surrendering, for lack of a better term, SEEK funding for these kids to the tune of $4,000 apiece. And that funding follows the kids to Boone County Schools and Ignite, but the parents won't be charged anything. So just want to thank Bill Hogan for his work there. The students we have this year who've attended Ignite have had nothing but positive things to say. If you've had the opportunity to visit the facility, they're doing great things for kids. It's a very different environment, and it takes a special student to be successful there. But I feel like it's a great opportunity to offer our students.
I have a quick question, Dr. Baker, on that.
Yes.
So is that like the incoming freshmen and then the sophomores and juniors? That's for all 3 groups?
It's any student that enters Ignite for the first time in the fall of 2020 will get to finish their high school career there at zero cost to their parents.
Okay. All right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Now, will we have to vote on this again next year for like the next group?
Yes, these MOUs are all 1 year, and I shared with Bill, and I've shared, I'll state again, if there was a chance that there would be additional costs other than SEEK, my recommendation to you would be that we have parents individually sign an agreement acknowledging that any additional costs above SEEK go to the parents and not to our school district. I think that's only fair, because you're already allowing the SEEK funding to to follow those students.
Okay. I was going to ask that. So they're not responsible for anything additional, and neither are we.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So one question.
You know how many students are going?
Go ahead, Heather.
I believe at present the number is 12 that have indicated they are going to go. That
New
number,
new or total?
new.
Okay. What's that put our total to?
That would be 22. We had 10 attend this year.
Okay.
So I had a question on SEEK funding. So the way it's written in there, it seems pretty generic in that it covers us no matter what SEEK funding is. Is Boone County, are they putting together a similar memorandum of understanding if say the state were to drastically cut SEEK funding, or in some regard, are they still going to accept the students if SEEK is not what we think it will be?
That is my understanding. I had Claire look at the MOU before I brought it to you. It's my understanding that in approving this MOU, Boone County is committing to accept these students and allow them to stay until they finish their high school career.
Yeah, and
Okay.
in the bottom,
That's how I understood it, but
say the way I'm reading it is they're for the guaranteed base SEEK amount per student. The 4,000 is based on the businesses that are providing.
yes.
I mean, it's just
That was
whatever
my
SEEK
question,
is.
was
That's what they're.
if SEEK funding was not what they thought it would be, because they're thinking SEEK funding is going to be $4,000 or $5,000, something like that, and then they get an additional 4,000. If it's not, and they only have the 4,000, or they only get 2,000, the rest of that money, we're not on the hook to make that up. But I just didn't know if Boone County was prepared for that.
David.
The vision for this is to be a regional school, and they very badly want this to be a regional school.
Yep.
They are willing. It's my understanding they're very willing, obviously, to accommodate us to a degree and our parents to make it a true regional school and not just a Boone County, Kenton County school.
We capped it at 100 students. Is that for this year, since this is just a 1-year agreement, or is that throughout the lifetime?
The number I was given was 100 regional students total.
Okay.
It's my understanding that we're the only regional district participating, along with Boone and Kenton. There was a possibility that Ludlow may be sending some kids, but I'm not sure how that shook out. So as long as there are no other regional schools participating, it puts us in a good position.
Good. Thank you.
I just heard from Bill Hogan, and he answered the question. He said, yes, regardless what the SEEK is, that's what our kids they'll take for that.
Good.
That's why he wrote it for base SEEK, he said.
Yeah, say the way it's worded, it says base SEEK. So whatever that is, they're willing to. The way I read it, they're willing to take it.
Yep, that was my understanding. I just wanted to clarify.
He said he wanted to tell us that he appreciates the support of our board and taking the step last year, and glad that we agreed to work with Boone County since he couldn't be here.
Tell him we appreciate his hard work. All right. Any other discussion on that? So we are on 3N, approval of memorandum of understanding with Boone County Schools regarding the Ignite Institute. David was the first. Do we have a second?
I'll make it.
Megan?
Megan.
Were you saying something?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? There are none. 3O, approval of the intent to participate in the NKCES for 2020-2021.
I'll make it.
Catch up with my handwriting here. Any discussion? Second.
I'll make it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0. 3P, approval to participate in the NKCES English language program for 2020-2021. I can get that out.
I'll make it.
David? Discussion? Questions? Second?
I'll make it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 3Q. You ready for this? We are on adjournment.
I'll make it.
I had a question real quick.
Okay.
I'm not ready to adjourn yet. Dr. Baker, did you talk to Claire and did she get any insight on the track with, in regards to what she, like, I know we had her there and she was going to kind of, has she heard anything, I guess?
I haven't spoken to Claire about that particular topic in the last week, but I will do that first thing in the morning and I'll include that in your Friday email.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Second?
I'll make it.
Stacy? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? There are none. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.